From job site to boardroom, TradesTalk is the voice of the next generation trades. Hosted by Justin White, this show is your weekly dose of real talk, motivation, and strategy from the disruptors raising the bar in the trades. If you're building, scaling, or leading, this is your playbook. Welcome to TradesTalk.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Weekly Update. Six, what a week it has been, my goodness. I mean, obviously global political challenges that maybe don't affect our businesses as much, but we definitely are distracted. Our team's probably distracted. Our clients are distracted. Right now is a really hard time to get people to make decisions, to march forward with our goals, to try to get things accomplished because of the noise. The noise, ladies and gentlemen, is loud. Now, we're going into the halfway mark. Next week will be July 1st. Officially, 6 months in, 6 months to go in 2025. And I can't believe it. It raced by. But here's the opportunity you have. The opportunity you have is mid-year alignment. Last week, I mentioned we have a quarterly planning session we are going into, and we did that on Sunday and Monday of this week with our leadership team. So I'm going to unpack that a little bit, what that looks like, how you may be able to do that yourself in your business or your personal life or with your own team. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll also talk a little bit, I'll end the episode when we get there, you'll know. I got a little surprise for you guys. Okay, so mid-year alignment, I think the biggest and most important thing you can do for your team and your company is to provide clarity. For your team, we need to know where we're going, how we get there, what it's going to take, how long it's going to take, and what are the steps I need to do as a member of the team to make sure that my end is taken care of, that I do my job. Now, that last part is so important, that I do my job. I know what my job is. So many of us expect our team to just know what their job is and just show up and do it and work hard. But if you really get into the depth of a job description, you're going to see it covers this very small percentage of truly what the job requires and what the job is. And so much of what we do as a team is beyond just doing tasks. It's how we show up. It's what we say. It's how we say it. It's the fact that we care about our team or that we don't care about our team. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So when you have a culture that's marching forward together, when you have a culture that's tied in around a common goal, your chances of success skyrocket. So that's what I want to talk about is this idea of mid-year alignment around clarity of the company. First off, how did we do? So many of us are afraid to share the results of a period of time or a mid-year check-in with our team because maybe the results aren't as good as we wanted them to be. Or maybe the results are so good, we don't want to share with the team how much money we made. It's so funny. I see this constantly from leaders. They want to water down the good days and they want to hype up the bad days, right? They want to make the bad days look not so bad and they want to make the good days look maybe not so good. And what you get is this really vanilla approach to leadership and success in a company. The truth is, a team that is truly desiring success, a team that is really aligned with your vision. They want to know how you're doing, but they want to know how they're doing. They want to know how we are doing collectively as a team. So the end of June is an opportunity to share those results. And maybe you can't share financial results on July 1st. I get it. You got to close the books, what have you. But as quick as possible, I want you guys to share with your team, how did the first 6 months go? What was the goal around client retention? What was the goal around profitability? What was the goal around leadership development or people development? What was the goal around team turnover? What was the goal around injuries and safety accidents? What was the goal around marketing and new leads? You get the idea. So what are your goals for 2025? And are you on track with those goals? What was your goals for quarter 2? And are you on track? And did you accomplish those goals? It's okay if you are literally failing at every single goal you set. In fact, I would argue that is totally okay and beneficial to talk about that. Because when you don't talk about that, you end up just repeating the same mistake over and over and over again. And that's why most businesses, they live the same 6 months for 30 years and then they retire. That's not what we want to do here on TradesTalk. That's not what we want to do inside the disruptors, right? We are trying to raise the bar every single day. And the only way you're going to raise a bar is by debriefing on the successes and failures you've had. So this mid-year alignment is so critical. It's so key to your success and your team's success. Now, some of the ways you can accomplish this is your, let's say, leadership planning session. So I'm going to break these planning sessions down, starting with the first and foremost, leadership planning session. If you don't currently have a leadership team, don't worry. That's something you can work on. But the idea is it's the top 3, 5, 7 people at the top of the organization. If you're a small company, maybe it's just you and one other. Heck, maybe it's just you and a coach or just you and ChatGPT. The idea here is you need a leadership team, and maybe it's just you. But the idea is that you get together every week and you talk about what's going on in the business. What are the biggest issues we need to solve? What are those key performance indicators we are tracking? On a quarterly basis, you get together and you review the quarter. How are we doing this quarter? How are we doing year to date? What are the goals that we need to reset? What are the goals that we accomplished? How are we doing on our financial metrics? How are we doing on our quality metrics? How are we doing on our revenue and other metrics? Then you set the target for the next 3 months. I love 90-day cycles, and that's what we live in within K&D. So what is the target between July 1st and September 30th? What do we want to accomplish? What are those milestones, those rocks, those goals that we want to do? What do we want to roll out? Do we want to roll out a new proposal format? Do we want to roll out a new branding format? Do we want to go after a new geographic area? Do we want to hire some specific person that's going to take us to the next level? Do we want to audit some part of our business, right? IT and HR is something that you should always be auditing. Do we want to offer more benefits to our team? There's so many opportunities to improve our companies. But while others are just heads down working week in and week out, taking the strategic time out allows you to refocus your priorities. You can also set new metrics. What's the revenue goal? What's the profitability goal? What's the labor variance goal? All of those goals you can reset at the end of the quarter and the beginning of the next. So, this leadership team meeting is really critical to set the direction and the intention for the company over the next 90 days. The next is a divisional or department planning session. Let's say you have 2 departments in your team. You have construction and you have maintenance, pretty common in landscaping at least. I would have a planning session for construction and I would have a planning session for maintenance. I would also have a planning session for the sales team and a planning session for the support or admin team. Now, depending on how your team is broken up, how big you are, how small you are, etc., you can have more or less of these planning sessions. But the idea is that you have divisional or department level planning sessions that focus on the goals and the metrics and the targets for that department. After that, you roll into what I call the all hands planning session. Now, if you have 10 employees, bring your entire company into this. If you have 100 employees, maybe it's just your management team, your supervisors, production managers, project managers, and above. Maybe it's 20 or 30 of those individuals. You bring those into a room from 8 a.m. to, let's say, 2 p.m., 6 hours. You feed them breakfast, you feed lunch. And the goal of this planning session is to relay the information that was decided upon during the leadership planning session and during the divisional and departmental planning sessions. So you want to make sure that the goals are laid out very clearly to the entire team, all together. Everybody hears the same message from the CEO, from the divisional leaders, from the finance leader, from whoever else, the sales leader, whoever else is leaders in your organization. They all give a presentation. Now, that's not going to take 6 hours. What do you fill the rest of the time with? Well, you fill the rest of the time with team building exercises. And I don't mean like the old dumb team building exercises like trust falls and stuff. No, I come up with some creative stuff. We have done some really fun activities. Last quarter, we actually broke the team up into groups And we broke them up into groups, I think of like 3 or 4. And our leadership team acted as the Shark Tank. And the management team basically pitched on these company ideas that we gave them. And they were related to our industry, right? So one of the companies that we mocked up was a landscape lighting division. And so we assigned 3 people on a team to come in and pitch us on this idea of landscape lighting. And it was actually really interesting. We got some pretty good ideas from it. And who knows, maybe we'll actually turn some of those ideas into businesses or divisions of the company in the future. But it was a great team building exercise. It gave the management team an opportunity to be in a leadership style role, to take on this idea of an entrepreneur, and to pitch the leadership team as investors to their mock business that we created. We're going to do some other stuff. We have so many of these fun activities, but try to do something that's fun, that relates to what your industry is, that brings people together and gets everyone to laugh and open up a little bit. The more open people can be, the more progress that can be made. So that's kind of the overview. I'm going to break that out. So it's a leadership planning session, management or divisional planning session, and then a management or all hands planning session. So it's 3 levels and they cascade together. The leadership, that filters into the divisional planning sessions, and that all comes together into the management planning session or all hands planning session, where you can tie everything together. Everyone hears the same thing all together. Now from there, what do? Well, from there you execute. From there you get back to work. From there you have your weekly check-in meetings to make sure everybody's on track. But after that 2-week planning session sprint, you are 100% clear. The team is 100% clear. Everybody knows what the mission is, and everybody goes and attacks that mission. So that's really the basis of what I want to talk about today, is this idea of strategic planning, how important it is. Now here's an interesting thing. You can take this methodology, this theory that is not mine. I have stole this from all the business greats that come before me, like Jim Collins and Vern Harnish and Gino Wickman of EOS. All these guys have identified the 90-day sprint as the most effective time in business to accomplish goals. Obviously, we have quarterly earnings calls from all the publicly traded companies. It's just how the world works. Now, that may change going forward, and I've said that on previous podcasts, but what I want to say right now is you can apply this to your personal life, and you should be applying this to your personal life. I think you're missing out on a massive opportunity to reach your full potential if you're not applying this in your personal life. Let me give you an example. Chew on this for a minute. Have you ever worked really, really hard to accomplish a goal, and when you got there, felt like nothing? Like you didn't have any big feeling of accomplishment? It was just, okay, like I did that, great, whatever, next. And you look back and you realize all of the feelings and excitement and dopamine you thought you were going to get at the end of the journey actually happened throughout the journey as you made progress. And then have you ever accomplished a goal? And that's not all goals, right? You probably have accomplished a goal where you got to the end and you feel great about it. You feel amazing. But how long does that feeling last? Even the best case scenario, when you do feel great after accomplishing a goal, how long does that last? 6 years? No. 6 months? Probably not. 6 minutes? It's somewhere between 6 minutes and 6 weeks. But 6 weeks is about as long as that's going to last. And then it's just normal life. Progress, ladies and gentlemen, progress is happiness. That's why when billionaires become billionaires, they start giving away their money. They start new companies. They do things like go to space because progress equals happiness, not success. In fact, I would argue success is the enemy of happiness, because once you achieve success, what is next? You got to be careful. You got to be careful being successful, because some people actually become the most depressed when they achieve their goals. Now, it's not a reason to not achieve your goals. That's a reason to set more. That's a reason to always be looking for the next target and finding that true fulfillment. You got to enjoy life in the moment, but you also got to keep making progress. That is where the 90-day cadence comes into place. Meeting with your family, yourself, your spouse, your kids, every 90 days to have a conversation about what are we doing? What are the vacations we're going to take? What's our intentionality? What's our focus? Are we trying to eat healthier? Are we trying to be more present? Are we going to put our phones away? What are you going to do in the next 90 days to improve your life and make progress in areas that matter to you? Fitness, health, family, of course. What are you going to do in the next 90 days to move your personal life forward? And that, my friends, that is the ultimate opportunity. It's not how successful can we make our businesses, but how can we take the lessons? How can we take all of this amazing knowledge that we are gaining in this world today and apply it into areas that truly matter to us at a deep, fundamental level, like family. So with that, let's wrap. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I will be back on July 3rd, the day before July 4th, dropping another episode on another weekly update. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hang in there. Let's keep rocking, keep raising the bar. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Trades Talk, where the next generation of disruptors comes to raise the bar. If you got value from today's episode, share it with someone in the trades who's ready to level up. For more tools, insights, and community, follow host Justin White and join the movement at jwhitegroup.com.